against CSKA Moscow. Luke de Jong with the equalizer against Moscow before Dave Proper got the winner in the 86th minute. And that sees Eindhoven through to the knockout phase. They finished second. Wolfsburg finished first. Manchester United finishes third. They will drop to Europa. CSKA Moscow is out of Europe. In Group C, your results were Galatasaray 1, Astana 1. Astana almost could have advanced forward. Patrick Twumasi had a goal in the 62nd minute, but Selçuk Inyan got it back in the 64th to make it finish 1-1. Atletico Madrid with a 2-1 win on the road against Benfica allows them to win the group with 13 points. Benfica finishes second with 10, and Galatasaray, with their draw against Astana, go through to Europa League. Plucky Astana are done. Group D, Manchester City with a huge win against Borussia Mönchengladbach. They trailed 2-1 with 10 minutes to play, but Raheem Sterling had a 2-minute brace, and Wilfred Bonet put it away in the 85th to give City all the points. Sevilla had a 1-0 win over Juventus. Fernando Llorente with the winning goal there. That gets Sevilla a huge 3 points and gets them into the Europa League. Unfortunately, Fabian Johnson's Borussia Mönchengladbach is eliminated from all comps. Juventus finishes second in the group with 11 points, just 1 point behind Manchester City. So, got to give Manchester City props after that first opening loss to Juventus at home when they were up a goal and gave up too late. They've certainly come back a long way. They get 4 wins in the group stage to win the group. Group E, Barcelona, no surprise, finishes with 14 points. They got a ho-hum draw against Bayer Leverkusen, Lionel Messi with a 20th minute goal, and a 0-0 draw between Roma and BATE Borisov gets Roma a second place finish. Despite having a -5 goal differential, they go through with more points against Leverkusen, and Bayer Leverkusen finishes third and will be going to the Europa League. Plucky BATE, unfortunately finishes fourth, and they are out. Group F, the group of failures. That's what I'm going to call it. No heroes here. Bayern Munich, they get 15 points. Robert Lewandowski with a brace over Dynamo Zagreb for a 2-0 win. And Arsenal goes on the road to beat Olympiacos 3-0. They needed to win at least 2-0. Olivier Giroud with a hat trick gets it done for Arsenal. They and Olympiacos both go through with 9 points. The Olympiacos will be heading to the Europa League knockout stage. Zagreb is out. Arsenal will be going through as the second place finisher. Group G, Chelsea win the group with 13 points after a 2-0 win against Porto. Ivan Marcano with an own goal in the 12th minute, and then Willian, not with a free kick this time, he put it away in the 52nd minute. Elsewhere, Dynamo Kiev with a 1-0 win over Maccabi Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv only scored 1 goal in the entire group stage. They have 0 points. They are obviously eliminated. Porto, because of the loss and because of Kiev's win, actually must now go to the Europa League. Kiev finishes second with 11 points. Chelsea, well, they suck in the Premier League, but they win their group. They win Group G, and they'll be going to the knockout phase. And in Group H, the final group, Lyon with a 2-0 win over Valencia. It's Lyon's first win of the group stage. Alexandre Lacazette with a goal in that one. You might think, how many more goals does he have for Lyon before a possible transfer to a Premier League side? Ghent with a 2-0 win over Zenit. This is Zenit's first loss of the group stage, actually first non-win completely. Daniel Milicevic with the winner for Ghent in the 78th minute. Ghent goes through in second place, the first-time Champions League team. They go through with 10 points. Zenit wins the group with 15. And Valencia, even with the loss to Lyon, they go through to Europa. Lyon, even with the win, is done. So that is, again, your Champions League group stage. It is all over. In the round of 16 draw, the winners will be seeded against runners-up. The draw for that will be this coming Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, it is very early. We will be talking about it, next week on the pod. So Real Madrid, Wolfsburg, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, and Zenit. Those are your 8 seeded teams. Your unseeded teams who they will be matched up against are PSG, PSV Eindhoven, Benfica, Juventus, Roma, Arsenal, Dynamo Kiev, and Gent. 3 Spanish teams in the winner's side, 2 Italian teams in the unseeded side, also 2 English teams, 2 German teams, and a Russian team in that winner's side. Rules for the draw: you cannot be drawn against somebody from your own group. Yeah, your group. And you cannot be drawn against someone from your own country, basically. So Arsenal cannot be drawn against Bayern, for example, because they were both in Group F. They cannot be drawn against Chelsea or City in the first round because they are all from the Premier League. And that's actually about the only one that would really be, that's the only repeat country. So Arsenal is the only one who will be dodging multiple other seeded teams because they all play in the same league. So that's actually kind of interesting that happened. I'm just noticing this. This is something that shocks me a little bit. Again, everyone like PSG cannot be drawn against Real Madrid in the first round. And also after every round, unlike a seeded tournament style thing, after every round, the groups are redrawn. So, and after the first round, you can be drawn against anyone. So we could see a quarterfinals potentially of Real Madrid Barcelona. Could totally happen. But we'll see. Again, that draw is December 14th. That's next Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those first legs will be taking place in late February. So we're actually going to be done with Champions League action for a while. We may talk a little bit about it next week when Wes comes back. We'll also have Europa League to talk about. Liverpool will be in action trying to win the group at Sion in Switzerland. Ruben Kazan will be at Bordeaux in Group B. And for Tottenham Hotspur, they will be taking on Monaco at White Hart Lane. They lead the group with 10 points. Any sort of result against Monaco on Thursday will see them win the group. As well, any Anderlecht non-win against Karabakh, which Anderlecht playing them at home, you expect them to get a win. But a non-win would also see Tottenham win the group. So we'll see what kind of lineup Mauricio Pochettino decides to play tomorrow against Monaco, especially with news that both Nasser Chadli and Nabil Bentaleb are potentially back. Moussa Dembele will be missing it with an illness. So we mentioned that we also have the FA Cup. The round of 64 has been drawn. Again, these matches will be taking place in early January, sometime between the 8th and the 11th. 64 teams in. The lowest level team in right now could be Salford City out of whatever the 7th division is. Let's say, it's the Northern Premier League Premier Division. That's what it is, which they actually just got promoted to this season. But they are actually still playing Hartlepool United out of League Two. Yes. So, and this is the thing I don't understand about it. Tottenham actually got drawn against Leicester in White Hart Lane. I find that very odd that they don't seed teams. Like the Premier League team should be seeded. Like you also have Watford, Newcastle. Those are both Premier League teams playing against each other. Arsenal is playing Sunderland, I think. Those are 2 Premier League clubs. Southampton plays Crystal Palace. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. It's great for teams like Eastleigh. They're in the 5th division, which is the National League. With the Dodgers and the Braves, they'll be playing the Bolton Wanderers out of the championship. So it's good to see that those guys don't automatically get matched up against a top-flight Premier League team. But on the other hand, when you're Tottenham, you're like, do we have to play Leicester? Couldn't we have gotten Liverpool got Exeter City? Nothing against Exeter City. I'm sure they're great in League Two. But, I'm just saying. But anyway, those matches again will be taking place between the 8th and 11th of January. We'll find out and talk more about those as those matches are played. And of course, still Capital One Cup going on as well. So that is your Premier League, Champions League, Europa League, and FA Cup news. We did have news and notes. Obviously, we're not going to talk about these too much. Here's what I'll give you what we would have talked about had West been here. We certainly would have mentioned. I gotta pull these up here. We would have certainly discussed. Oh my goodness, there's so much other crap I don't need on here. We would have talked about potentially Aroldis Chapman's domestic abuse violations. At least mention them. Last week it was the Azil Puig. This week it's Aroldis Chapman. Whoops. So, hey, congrats, NFL. You're not the only one with domestic violence problems anymore, I guess. We would, of course, talk about the big news hitting FIFA. Another round of officials getting charged over in Switzerland. 16 more FIFA officials have been charged with corruption involving, quote, well over 132 million pounds in bribes and kickbacks. So, yay for that, I suppose. Also on that, FIFA President Sepp Blatter is reportedly under FBI investigation over knowledge of 66.2 million pounds in a bribery scandal. And news came out just a couple days ago that CONCACAF, even though they had a recently indicted acting president, Alfredo Howitt, he won't be replaced until the member nations meet in May. So as much as we like to complain about FIFA and Sepp Blatter, CONCACAF ain't that clean either. So we would have obviously mentioned that. We talked about it last week a little bit on the pod. Real Madrid fielded an ineligible player, Denis Cheryshev, in their Copa del Rey match last week. We didn't know at the time if they were going to get disqualified or not, and sure enough, they did. So I do my little happy dance, because I don't like Real Madrid. I await your fan mail. I love it. Real Madrid, again, disqualified from Copa del Rey. So that's another trophy Rafa Benitez can't win this year. Sorry, Rafa. Of course, big news coming out this week. The U.S. women's national team was supposed to play a match in Hawaii this week. They chose not to because they felt that the quality of the pitch would endanger their health. And given how much big of a topic this was during the World Cup, I'm not surprised they're finally deciding to take a stand. Unfortunately, it looks like there might be a class action lawsuit against them, but I say you should be treated better. Yes, this is kind of like a victory tour. Yes, this is they did have a contract, I'm sure, but we got to start taking care of our girls and our women and have them on literally a level playing field here. The men don't have to play nearly as much on turf as the women. So we need to take steps to correct that. So I hope they fight the lawsuit. It sucks for anybody who is going to watch them. I feel terrible for them. But you got to do what's best for the players at this point. They're making you a lot of money and endorsements and sponsorships and everything else. Take care of them. So U.S. Women's National Team, standing with you on that one. Two more Premier League notes real quick. Another big blow for injury for West Ham. We talked a few weeks ago about Dimitri Payet. Now Diafra Sakho will be out for 3 months with a thigh injury. So big blow to them. And United's Bastian Schweinsteiger has been charged with violent conduct for his incident against West Ham this past weekend. He may in fact earn a 3-match ban for his actions. So that's going to do it. That's your Premier League. That's your news and notes. That's all of our soccer talk for this week. I've gone almost 30 minutes just talking here in this room by myself. So I'm going to stop now. We're also going to forego Watch 4 and So Raw this week. I guess we're not really foregoing So Raw. We're having a Giga So Raw. Wes and I are going to talk about a lot of stuff going on in the WWE. We recorded this a couple weeks ago. So that's why there's no talk about what happened in WWE this past Monday night. And I didn't watch, so who knows? I'm sure Wes will be back to talk about it next week, though. But in the meantime, here is our super mega so raw from a couple weeks ago.